The story begins with a 19-year-old boy named Oscar. Unlike most teenagers, Oscar isn't interested in partying or dating girls his age. He's intelligent, mature, and deeply obsessed with philosophy and French literature. At his boarding school, almost every girl secretly likes him. But Oscar rejects all of them because he believes girls his age are immature. During Thanksgiving break, students begin leaving campus. On the train ride home, one of the most beautiful girls in school approaches Oscar and asks him out. But once again, he politely says no. His best friend is shocked and asks, "Why do you keep rejecting every girl?" Oscar calmly reveals that he's already in love with an older woman. And during this vacation, he plans to finally win her heart.
When Oscar arrives home, his father warmly welcomes him back home. Years ago, Oscar's mother passed away. After her death, his father remarried a woman named Eve. Eve is elegant, intelligent, emotionally mature, and works as a cardiologist. That night, Oscar's father throws a dinner party to celebrate his return home. Guests laugh, drink, and socialize. But Oscar only watches one person, Eve. And suddenly, we realize the shocking truth. The older woman Oscar is secretly in love with is actually his stepmother. To everyone else, Eve is simply a caring wife and mother figure. But to Oscar, she's perfection. Her intelligence, confidence, and maturity make him obsessed with her. He doesn't see her as family anymore. He sees her as the ideal woman he's dreamed about for years. But Eve has absolutely no idea what Oscar truly feels. At the party, Oscar meets Eve's best friend, Diane. Unlike Eve, Diane is wild, emotionally reckless, and very open-minded. Later that night, Oscar feels emotionally frustrated after once again failing to confess his feelings to Eve. So he sneaks into a bar using a fake ID and drinks far too much alcohol. Completely drunk, he stumbles through the streets until he accidentally runs into Diane. Seeing his condition, Diane takes him back to her apartment. Oscar lies down exhausted while Diane offers him a massage. But slowly, the emotional tension between them grows stronger. Oscar is drunk, vulnerable, and confused. And Diane begins getting attracted to him too. That night, they sleep together. The next morning, Oscar instantly regrets everything. And things become even worse when he discovers Diane's boyfriend is inside the apartment. Luckily, the boyfriend believes Oscar only came there for a massage. Oscar quickly leaves, feeling trapped between guilt and confusion. Oscar can no longer control his feelings for Eve. One afternoon, he visits her clinic with lunch, hoping to finally confess everything. While eating together, Oscar asks strange questions about love and the human heart. Eve simply smiles, unaware of what's really happening inside his mind. But things suddenly become dangerous when Eve mentions that later that night, they'll all be having dinner together, including Diane. Oscar immediately panics. He's terrified Diane might reveal what happened between them. So before dinner, Oscar secretly meets Diane and begs her to stay quiet. Diane agrees, but it becomes obvious she's starting to develop real feelings for him. She sees Oscar as emotionally deeper than any man she's dated before. Meanwhile, Oscar remains completely obsessed with Eve. He still believes she's the only woman he truly loves. That night, everyone gathers for dinner at a fancy hotel. At first, everything feels normal. But Diane drinks too much alcohol and starts flirting with Oscar in French. Neither Eve nor Oscar's father understands the language, but they can still sense something strange between them. Oscar desperately tries stopping Diane before she reveals too much. Then suddenly, Oscar's father catches them alone together. Suspicious, he asks, "Are you two hiding something from us?" And without hesitation, Diane says, "We're in love." The entire table goes silent. Oscar's father and Eve are completely shocked. They immediately say the relationship is wrong because of the huge age difference. But the real emotional explosion happens the next day. When Eve confronts Oscar privately, he finally breaks down. And for the first time, he confesses the truth. "I'm in love with you, Eve." Eve is left speechless. Instead of yelling at Oscar, Eve calmly explains something important. She tells him that what he feels isn't true love. It's emotional confusion, a fantasy created by loneliness, admiration, and youth. Oscar slowly realizes she's right. He wasn't truly in love with Eve. He was chasing an impossible ideal. For the first time, Oscar begins understanding himself emotionally. He also starts distancing himself from Diane and all the chaos he created. As Thanksgiving break comes to an end, Oscar prepares to return to boarding school. At the train station, he apologizes sincerely to Eve for everything. Then he boards the train and sits beside his best friend. Moments later, the same girl he rejected at the beginning of the story approaches him again. This time, Oscar smiles at her differently. Not with obsession, not with fantasy, but with emotional maturity. And as the train slowly moves forward, Oscar quietly leaves the past behind. And that's where the story ends.